What the fuck did we do? This is insane. Thursday. It is very bright in the kitchen because this is the only place we get sun. It's 11 a.m. so it's not early, don't get me wrong. Went out yesterday and it was nice. Went to a few shops, but it was a bit, it wasn't stressful, that's not the right word to use, but I'm drained mentally, like I'm mentally so drained, and I've broken out in a few spots and stuff because of yesterday just being just too much. Do you know when you're just tired in general from life, like you're physically tired but then mentally you're just absolutely exhausted as well. Yesterday it's taken me out, I'm so tired. Went to bed feeling super sick, but I've woken up feeling so much better. But we have 0 breakfast foods in. I had a slice of toast, which I don't like to have for breakfast because I don't really like toast, but we've got no milk or anything, kind of cereal, eggs, like nothing. So we need to go to the shop and get some of those, but we order Gusto boxes weekly, which is like my absolute favourite thing in the entire world. These Gusto boxes save me time, energy, thinking. I'm obsessed with them. I pick great meals and then every night I have a great meal that either I cook or Dan cooks. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to get angry or hangry or hungry or annoyed about food shopping or oh my god I don't know what to make. Like, it's just there and it's fab. But there was a deal, so we ordered too much food basically. So a new box arrived this week, which is great because we've had one of them, but we've still got one left from last week, which is a 4-person meal, which is why there's so many ingredients, because they had a deal on. We did 4-person meals, so I'm gonna make this now and then we can have like a kind of a big lunch and then save the other 2 portions for tomorrow night for dinner. So it's fab. I got an iced coffee the other day and put it in the fridge and forgot about it, so I'm having a Starbucks, which is even better this morning because I didn't have to go get it. I just added some ice and a dash of milk and it's okay. Like, I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world. What have we got? So we've got a baked meatball with tomato sauce and linguine, and it looks so good. This guy's constantly wanting food even though you've just had breakfast. I know. Hey guys, so a lot has changed since that last clip. Let's talk about it. Let's sit down, let's talk about it. So I actually treasure the first few minutes of this vlog that ended up just ending, where it just ended just being at home and being with Thor and just having that memory of just my morning and just I don't know, I treasure the last few vlogs, but I wanted to sit down and talk about what happened after this vlog, what happened next. And by the title of this video you're like, okay, just talk about it. The title of this video is we dropped out of buying our house. So I can't remember when it was, but I think the video I put up in December, I want to say the last video I uploaded at Christmas time was about, it was like an update on life and how we'd bought a house, and how we decided to buy a house, and we felt like that was the next step for us. We did a load of house viewings. We were looking for a few months, and then we found pretty much the dream house. We were obsessed with it, and we went in really quickly. We put in an offer. We went up against another couple who were going for the house, and we managed to beat their offer, and we got the house. And I think we put our offer in October last year, and then we were ready to move into the house this January, and that's when we were living in our gorgeous flat. As you will have seen, one of my last videos I posted is our empty flat tour. We moved out of that flat ready to move into the new house we had bought. Some things didn't line up. We weren't able to move into the house straight away. The sellers were being really slow on some things, and like paperwork wasn't going through, and issues with the solicitors and all those fun things that come with buying a house happened, which meant we moved out of our flat and we had nowhere to go. We managed to find a house nearby to rent, which was perfect timing, which is where I was in the last few vlogs. We moved into that house to rent for just a few months, ready to move into our new house, which I think we would have moved into a few weeks ago if we carried on with that whole thing. So we moved into this temporary house, renting it, getting ready for our new house. And within that time, we were going back into the office for work. We were getting, I think things were becoming more and more normal, like going back into the office things, like lots of things were happening, and everything started to feel like they were getting back to normal. It was a hard time because we'd moved out of the flat, and that was the first time I really felt at home. And that was my home, and I am not okay with the fact we moved out. I feel quite emotional about it, but it's done, and I can look back on that year when we moved in together. We got Thor and we lived there. It was just a beautiful chapter, and I'll always remember that. We moved into this rented house. We didn't really unpack anything, and I didn't really film much because it was just a weird house that we were kind of just waiting in for our home. And while we were waiting in this house, Dan and I started to have the "are we making the right decision" conversation. And I feel like thinking back now, the fact that we were even thinking that was a big sign that we weren't doing the right thing. I hope that makes sense. The fact that we were buying a house, we'd put in an offer, we were super excited. It is a fucking huge deal, an absolute huge step. It's a shit ton of money. It's a massive decision that we had made, and it was getting towards the time of it was getting to crunch time, and we weren't that excited. And I feel like if you're buying a house, I feel like that amount of money, you should be excited for what's going to happen and what comes along with a house and all of the other things. We loved the house we put an offer in. It was still my dream home. However, we pulled out and we decided not to buy a house. Which, now looking back, best decision we ever made. And when I go on to tell you what we're doing instead, I'm like so happy we went with that decision. But let me tell you, it was the hardest decision. The last few months have been honestly horrific and horrible. Us deciding what we want to do with the rest of our lives. I feel like we've had a quarter life crisis. What are we going to do with our lives? What do we want? What do we not want to do? What are the ridiculous expectations that everyone is putting on us? And what are we actually going to listen to, and what should we ignore? And it really came down to, what did we want? There's always people's opinion. There's families' opinions. There's generally societal norms of, oh, you're this age, you should probably do this next. And I'm quite good at not listening to those opinions. I hear them a lot of times I hear people's opinions on what I should be doing, and I get quite annoyed because I'm like, who do you think you are telling me because I'm about to be 25 I should do all these things? There is no time frame for these things. I shouldn't be doing anything. I'm doing what I want to do. So it was just a decision between Dan and I on what we wanted to do, and we were just talking constantly. We were like, we don't think we want a house. We love the idea of having a house together. We think that's a fab idea. But right now we were thinking it's just not right. Something doesn't feel right. It's a big amount of money to not be 100% sure that that's what we wanted to do. And we were thinking about all our options and how 2-3 years ago when I finished uni, the plan was for us to backpack around Asia for a few months and just experience travel. And then obviously COVID hit, and it's been 2-3 years later now. And we kind of thought it was never going to happen. We were never going to be able to travel. That kind of ship had sailed. We're now into the next chapter of our lives. We've got to get a house. We've got to do the next thing because we didn't want to rent any longer, because we're in a position here where we live that buying a house is it's possible. It was going to be a big stretch, but it was possible. We don't live in London where you kind of got to rent because it's so expensive. We're in a fortunate position where we live that we could buy a house. So we were like, well, if we don't want to rent, what else? If we were like, if we don't want to rent, the next thing to do is buy a house. That's like the next step. And I told my mom and I told my grandparents, and they were very excited. My grandparents got emotional, I think, because of their age and my age. They were like, oh, she's finally doing things. And they were excited. My mum was excited. Everyone was excited for us to buy a house. So the fact that Dan and I then turned around and were like, actually, we don't want this. Everything that comes with a house, we just felt like it wasn't our time. I feel like once you get into a house, we were talking like, we wouldn't be able to travel. We wouldn't be able to do anything. All our money would be going to this house. We'd be stuck in our jobs, which both of us kind of wanted a change of that. But because of the mortgage going through and then being stuck in a house, we had to have jobs to be making money to afford it. And we weren't loving our jobs and everything that came along with them at the time. And we went back and forth for about 2 weeks. We asked our family's opinion. We were like, do you think we should travel? Do you think we should buy a house? Like, genuinely, what do you think? And it was shocking, actually, how many people said, just travel. If you want to do it, do it. Get it out your system if that's what you want to do. Or if you want to travel for years and never come back, do it. Like, if that's what's calling you, do it. Because once we're in a house, we would never be able to build up the money to do the amount of travel we want, because we'd be tied up in a house. So that's what's happened. So since I last spoke to you, a lot has changed. We decided to go for it. We are now traveling and we're not buying a house. We've left our jobs. We don't have anywhere to live anymore. We've gone from zero. We went from 0 to 100 back to 0 very, very quickly. Besides from this being super excited, and I'm so excited. I can't even explain how excited I am for the next steps in our life and how we have waited so long through COVID to be able to travel again, and it's finally possible, and I'm so fucking excited. I can't believe that we're actually able to do this. And we spent the last 3 years literally just saving every penny just to travel, because I feel like we always knew that's what we wanted to do. I don't know who we thought we were buying a house. It wasn't for us. And one of the things I'm happiest with was it was a really scary decision to pull out the house. Like, it felt like a really big decision when we made the call and said we're dropping out. We dropped out just in time, that we didn't lose too much money. We kept our deposit, thank God. We dropped out in time. But it was a really scary decision, and I think the fact that it was so scary and it was a big leap made it even more like, yeah, this is the right thing to do. Like, the decision you should do should be scary. And Dan and I have both said once we made that decision, we haven't once regretted it or felt like we've done the wrong thing. We are 150% set with our decision, and that feels amazing. So we've gone from living in our gorgeous flat with our little cat to getting ready to move into a house to selling all of our furniture, packing absolutely everything we own into boxes and shoving them into people's lofts and garages. We went to my mum's and shoved a ton of boxes in there. We put a load of stuff in Dan's parents' loft, sold all of our belongings, booked a flight, and we're off in just over a month. What the fuck did we do? This is insane. I can't believe we've gone from 0 to 100 this way, and it's just mental. Like, I can't believe I'm even saying this. Like, I've always dreamed of being able to sit down and film a video and say, oh my god, I'm going travelling and I'm so excited, but this is ridiculous. I never thought this would actually ever happen. I was talking and I just got cut off. I was just saying that I feel like there's a huge amount of pressure on people in their 20s to have everything figured out. You need to be succeeding in your career, you need to own a house, you need to be doing all these insane things, and I think there's so much pressure from the world, and also like family can give you an insane amount of pressure, and making this decision and doing it for me and not listening to any of them just goes to show that if you're not ready for certain things, you're not ready, or if you're doing what you want to do, that's all that matters. You're on your own path. And I feel like not everyone will love our decision to go travelling and just to pack in everything, but also I don't give a shit what anyone says. This is what I want to do. I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to have any regrets, and I'm super excited, and I hope that you guys are just following your path and not listening to anyone's opinions but what you want to do, and I think that's so important. So next video will be my leaving work too, and another vlog, and then after that I'll film a video about us travelling and then us packing, and then we're off on our flight. We've literally booked a one-way flight with no end date. But I'll tell you about that next time. Make sure you subscribe. I would love it if you subscribed to my channel and supported me and got excited for where we're going next. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, because obviously you know I'm going to be posting all the Instagram travel content. Like this video, leave me a nice comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you would travel to. Let me know any recommendations on where we should go. If you have any travel advice, hit me. I need all the advice I can get. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys.